Hey, I'm Rob Patz.
Hey, I'm Jason Webb. Rob, we've made it to another Thursday. We have Thrive with Rob and Jason.
Okay, here's my thing. I got to start off, and this is not what we planned to start with. Not that we really plan any of this out, but it looks like you've got an angel on your one shoulder, but where's the devil?
I'm just saying, hey,
I'm
I got
just
this
like,
guy right here. I had to put this up here, Rob. You're just always looking over my shoulder, making sure I'm doing things right. And it's signed by somebody
it is.
famous.
It is
It has to be famous because I bought it off eBay.
eBay. And here's the thing that tells you that you're famous is when you don't sign your last name. It's just signed by my first name. It was like that whole Madonna era, Prince and Rob. There you go. See, I didn't put my last name.
Look at that.
I don't believe.
Look at that handsome devil.
Yeah, look at that. I was so young. Did I just sign my first name? Because a lot of them I just signed my first name, literally. Yeah. Yes. Which is technically pretty close to what my signature still is, which is surprising thing. I mean, you think about life and you don't realize that, 25, that's actually close to 30 years ago. Wow. Yeah.
What was cool about that, Rob, is I actually paid more in shipping than the actual picture.
And trust me, the shipping was more valuable than the picture. Which is funny though. If you do go to eBay right now, there are about 3 listings for me, which is really
man,
scary.
I got to check these things out.
No, please don't. One of them is a T-shirt, and thankfully, I think that one sold. It was a T-shirt we did for a TV show, and it's my picture on there, which it was my mom's idea completely, and I believe she, other than whoever had this on eBay,
she bought them all.
Are the only 2 people that bought that shirt. I totally believe it. The merch department tell you how bad it was, okay? Because they have investment. TV, if you know anything, and I was in TV at the time, and for national thing, TV invests in you with an expectation of return. Tell you how bad the sales were for that T-shirt. They sent me a box of those T-shirts for free after the show was over. So, but I saw one on eBay the other day. Well, I did not see it. My cousin screenshot it and sent it to me with a bunch of laughing.
It's like the losers for like the Super Bowl and stuff. They pre-made a lot of those shirts and they shipped them off to third world countries to give them away. They could have done that with some of your shirts.
They probably should have. They probably should have gone to like a mission, like
exactly, right.
But I'm worried it would have affected them, kind of like the effect it must feel like to be a Colorado Rockies fan right now.
Speaking of embarrassing situations, Rob,
yes,
I really don't claim the Rockies as my team anymore. They're setting records. I'll give them that. They're record setting, not the right way though.
How did they go? And this is the question I have, because like the Mariners, which is my team, I'm of course I grew up as a Twins fan. My mom and dad moved to Seattle. I became a Mariners fan just because they were there. But how did a team that for a long time was really pretty good, the Rockies, just fall apart?
It's all about ownership. All about ownership, Rob. They just they don't want to invest into the team, and the Monforts that they've been there since the beginning, and they don't need to invest in the team. There's still people that show up to the games. It doesn't matter if the team does horrible or not. It's a cool event. It's a cool atmosphere. The stadium's great. It's just fun to go to the games. You don't go to the games to watch the games. It just is what it is. But man, when they are winning, the fans back them. We have a very strong fan base, but they just this year in the first 50 games, they set a record that hasn't been set or broke since the 1800s.
It was 1800. There's like one of the teams that's on that list is like Louisville. Louisville hasn't had a team since I believe it was the early 1900s.
Exactly. Yeah, from the first 50 games of the year, the worst record since I think it was 1895 or 1900. It was right there, but it's ridiculous. They've only won 8 games in the first 50. Crazy, right?
You and I know and we both played sports. There's a point where you go, oh my goodness, I'm on a team that is going to be really bad. And it takes something out of you. I had my best memory of that. I was in 7th grade and I played basketball, and we were our 7th grade middle school team was just awful. I mean, we got killed. We had nobody. I mean, it was me and like 4 guys that were all 5'3", and we were getting killed. Like, I mean, it was halftime and the game was over. We could have tried to score every time, and so it takes a lot out of you. I feel for those guys that are there, that are having to play
Oh, I
out
do too, Rob. Yeah.
the season. And baseball's not like football. Like, you and I played football, so it's like, in college it's 11, 12 weeks. This is like forever. I mean,
Yeah.
they'll be playing. We'll have gone through summer
game after game after game. It just man, kicks you down, right? Speaking of, I was the same way, Rob. Basketball things in high school. one year we didn't win one game. Actually, we did. I'm sorry, I take that back. We did win one game. It was the game that I was sick that I didn't play.
Which then leads me to wonder,
right?
Was it you?
Oh man. But no, it's just, you said baseball just takes forever. 162 games. They're playing every day and you're losing every day. That's got to be bad. That really brings you down.
I would love to talk to some of the Christian guys that are on the team. I'm assuming there's a couple Christian players on that team. And how do they keep themselves mentally sharp when it's got to feel? If you've never played sports, you take it personally. I mean, you completely. Take it. It's to us just like, the most important thing at that moment. And every day, I can't imagine just getting kicked in the teeth. Oh.
I agree. Man, well, we need to bring this a little more upbeat, Rob.
Sure. How about a flamingo?
Ooh, yes. Our guests today, we have a couple. And the first one, bright pink Flamingo Advantage. Katie Hornor, she's an international keynote speaker, business strategist, and award-winning author of the Flamingo Advantage. She's been featured on TEDx, ABC, NBC, Fox, known for her creative metaphors and faith-centered leadership. Through her Flamingo Advantage framework, she equips high-achieving entrepreneurs to build purpose-driven businesses that align with their God-given identity and calling. Welcome, Katie, to the show.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm excited to be here.
And a cool thing that just happened this week, I just saw, was you have a billboard in Times Square.
I wanted to.
Yes.
Oh, you wanted to do it, Rob? I'm sorry. I took your thunder.
I got nothing. I'm over here going, I want to talk about it. That is super cool.
Yeah, well, tell us about it.
So we have a friend who has a ministry, and that a super cool opportunity. They were trying to figure out how to raise money for their ministry, and somehow we're able to buy some spots on some billboards in Times Square, and used it as a fundraiser. And so, we're all about ministry as well, that from our background. And so we said, sure, we would love to do that. And so that's kind of how it happened. And we were able to get our face and our message up in Times Square for a while, about a couple of weeks ago. So
that is amazing. That is so cool. Rob, what are your thoughts? We need to get a billboard up there.
No.
They don't want to see our faces up there.
Not even in New York. They do not want to see. This would be disturbing. There'd be accidents. The mayor would be calling. It would be terrible. It would be awful. But I'm excited to hear about everything that Katie's into. I always wanted to do a TED Talk. I think that would be so much fun.
I know, yeah. You've done a little bit of all these things, and it's been really, really cool. And our paths have crossed quite a few times, Katie, and all of the business adventures that we do with Ignite Christian Business, with NRB, with a few different things. So I actually got the chance to meet you in person at NRB. That was awesome, you and your husband. But this Flamingo Advantage, what inspired you to have the flamingo metaphor? I know you talk about it a lot, but I want you to explain to the audience about this whole Flamingo Advantage.
Sure. So, long story short is that our family took a trip to see flamingos in the wild, and it was such an amazing experience for me that I just couldn't get it out of my head. I started researching the birds, and the more I found out about them, the more God just kept downloading these metaphors, how flamingos and Christians in business are so much alike. And I can give you as many examples as you want of that, but eventually, like, that became a book, that became the second book, that became now the third book. And we started using it in our coaching and our consulting and our speaking, and it's just become its own thing. We actually had a complete rebrand at that point to be able to put forward this idea that you can be you all the way through, without having to fear, without having to compromise, without having to feel guilt or shame around being who God created you to be and doing what he put you here to do in the place he put you to do it.
That is awesome. And the market that we're both in that in the coaching space a little bit. You've really stood out with this, and it's the bright pink that catches the eye as well. But this Flamingo Advantage piece, man, it's just cool, and everybody gets it, right? It's you.
Yeah. Yeah.
So tell me about really like that marketing play of this.
Well, it kind of took a life of its own. I mean,
Mhm.
once you start writing about flamingos, I've had, people I don't know on Facebook sending me pictures of flamingos. Oh, I saw this at the store and thought of you. Or like my clients, coaching clients have had like they'll be on vacation and their husband sees a flamingo and is like, you got to buy this for Katie. Like that's the kind of life this just kind of took on. And I've always said if I ever wrote like a memoir, I would
Mhm.
call it Pink is Not My Favorite Color. because it's not, but this is what the Lord has brought in, and this is the thing that got people's attention and allowed us to bring that message to the forefront.
Mhm.
And so we just have embraced it and run with it, and it's really been cool to see. Everyone, a flamingo is memorable,
It
if
is.
not for their color, for how quirky and odd they are.
Mhm.
And I mean, there's so many lessons about that, and not being afraid to be who you are, quirks and all,
That is
and
cool.
stand out in the place that God put you. And so leveraging that, being able to stand there with a boldness and a confidence that says, this is who I am, this is what I can do for you, this is how God made me to show up in the world. And when you do that, then other people are fulfilled to do what they were created to do. And it just becomes this progression. Did you know, Jason, that flamingos, the actual flamingo birds, if they get sick and die out, it takes the world's ecosystem about 6 years to overcome that
Wow.
loss. And so when
Had
you
no
think
clue.
about that in terms
Mhm.
of our economy that we move and work in, what happens when you don't show up and do what you're supposed to do? Like, who's
Yeah,
going to have to
totally.
recover? What fills that gap when you don't do what you were created to do?
Yeah, and I commend you totally for following the path of the Lord and listening to the Lord and doing all these eh, everything that you're doing with this. I did not know that, so thanks for sharing that. I learned something new today. Um, I want to talk about faith in business because our show is Thrive, and this is something that you highly encourage entrepreneurs to do this. But how do you really come about integrating faith in their business to help with without compromising profitability and professionalism, all these things? Because a lot of people still think that faith and business need to be separate when we need to put it all together.
Yeah. I think separating faith and business, separating religion from the secular space, is one of the biggest lies the enemy has taught to this day and age.
Mhm.
And I think there's Christians falling for it left and right when they should not be. I think blending is another one of those lies, or life balance is another one. And I like to say blend it instead. I got that backwards, but I don't think you can be balanced. I don't think you can pigeonhole your faith. If your faith is really a part of who you are, you can't pigeonhole it or hide it or use it only on 1 or 2 days a week. It
Mhm.
has to be a part of everything that you do. And here again, just to drive this home, the flamingo is pink all the way through. What they eat colors them. They get their color from their food. So what you take in colors who you are.
Love it.
Okay.
Mhm.
But they're pink all the way through. Their blood is pink. Their flesh is pink. The milk that they secrete for their babies is pink. Their feathers are pink. It's not just the outside, it's all
Everything.
the way through them.
Mhm.
And so, if you're going to have a faith that means anything to you, then you have to be living it all the way through everything that you
Love that.
do, or you're living it authentically.
Yeah, I love that, and I
And
never thought about that. That is really cool.
yeah,
Every
it
Hmm.
everything that you do, right? You can't just be a Christian on Sunday.
Mhm.
You've got to be a Christian every day of the week. You can't just love Jesus one day and talk about him one day and not the next. Like flamingos can't just wake up and be like, "Oh, I'm going to go to that river today. I'm going to put on my blue feathers." Right?
Mhm.
Like we just don't do that. You have to be authentic to who you are all the way through everything that you do. Doesn't mean you have to be obnoxious with it, right?
Yes.
They're not flying around brushing their pink feathers in the faces of all the other birds,
Yes.
right? So you don't have to be obnoxious with it, but you do have to be true to who you are without shame, without fear, and without apology.
Amazing, amazing. So, with our audience, there might be some, quite a few people out there that are thinking about starting a business or have a business or have an entrepreneur mindset or they've always wanted to do this. what would be their first steps in going about this? I know we'll throw your website back up here, and you have a couple free videos on there too, but maybe speak to the audience about that. What does this look like for them?
Well, one of the biggest steps in starting a business is just deciding what you're going to do. Like, what do you have that's going to serve people? What's going to fill a hole? What do you have that the Lord has allowed you to have a gift or a talent or a passion for that helps to fulfill other people so that they have what they need to take their next step? Right. And when you can cross that, your passions, your gifts, your talents with someone else's need, then that is a place where you can serve and where people will pay money for it. Generally, they'll also pay money for things that improve their health, wealth, or happiness.
Exactly.
And so if it aligns with that, then you're in an even better position. And then it's just constantly asking yourself, what's the next thing I need to learn or do? And if I need to learn it, who can teach me? And if I need to do it, what's the next step? And then committing to take it. I'm a big action taker. When there's an opportunity there, like step in and do the thing. God doesn't open doors for nothing. And I believe that we should be taking the action that he puts in front of us on a regular basis. And that's what I help my coaching clients do.
That is amazing, and I know we want to have you on again in the show in the future, because you are an expat that lives actually in Mexico now as well. So I would love for us to talk about that again, thriving in life, business, and faith, and all these things that we do. I'd like you to finish out saying something in Spanish to the crowd, because you do speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah. Pues si ustedes están buscando empezar un negocio, no temes empezar, no temes involucrar tu fe en lo que vas a hacer. El Señor puede usar los talentos que le ha otorgado y nosotros estamos aquí para ayudar si necesitan.
Fantastic. I don't know what you said. I'm going to look at it, but I'd love your heart. This is amazing. You've been in Mexico for quite a while. We'll definitely have some more discussion on that. But Katie, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
Thank you,
Katie,
guys. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. What a blessing. Thanks for being with us.
Yeah, thank you.
Rob, she's amazing. And it's your favorite color, pink.
Yes, I can't. Yeah, exactly. I can't wait to actually use the translator when the captioning thing comes out, so that I can actually figure out what she said. She may have said, "I've been on with these two dummies for like 20 minutes."
Yeah, right. We talked about that beforehand. That our goal is just to not look stupid. And I said, "Well, we're going to."
Go. There you go. Hey, with this next guy, we got a chance to meet him while we were at the National Religious Broadcasters. He and his wife are a dynamic duo, and they do so many incredible things, including talk about marriage. And he's a pastor. He is a thought leader. I like to say that. He didn't say that. I did. And he's super active in politics. Please welcome Pastor Jerry. Pastor Jerry, good to have you with us.
Nope. I don't think we have any audio.
No audio right now.
Again, live show, guys. Not a big deal at all. But
hey, there we go. We're good. Sorry.
There you are, Jerry.
We got you. Go.
Yeah. So Jason, great to meet you for the first time here. And Rob, of course, we met at NRB, and my wife says you've been stalking me ever since on social media.
I have.
Right.
But that's okay. That's okay. No, it's great to be on the show with you guys. And obviously, Kate has been on talking about her book, and she's got a new one coming out in September. You can always check that out, kateangelo.com. But yeah.
Actually, that is Jerry. That'll be on the show with my wife. That's a different show than this show. This is Thrive. That's the Rob and Kristen show. Yeah, my wife is the book nerd, so she does that, and they don't let me. She's with Baker. Your wife's with Baker Books, and Baker Books doesn't let me. They always get scared. They see the interviews. Their PR people see the interviews where I'm on there also, and they immediately go, "Oh no." I know their team because I've met them all, because I'm the tag along, and they immediately get scared. They look and they see the screenshot where it's me in there too. Usually
they try to cut Rob out and just put Kristen in with them.
They do usually.
We do, yeah. So that's where me and Rob come on.
They say that's the guy with that T-shirt that didn't sell.
Yeah, it didn't sell anywhere.
Exactly. Don't want to be part of that.
Exactly.
I'll never forget
Jerry,
that.
Man, what you do with marriages and family, the stuff that you go into, it's incredible. The families and all of these things and marriages, it's been under attack for so long. What got you into this space besides getting married yourself?
Wow, that's a pretty long story. I'll try to shorten that up for the time we have. But Basically, I went through a broken marriage, and Kate did as well, and it's pretty rough. And as I was going through that, I had a really great, successful career in Oklahoma as a senior level network engineer. I don't know if you knew that or not, Rob, and Jason, but I did that for about 27 years now. Just left that industry a few years ago, but at the time I was at the top of my game, and my family was struggling, and the marriage fell apart, and just that journey that I went on, that's when I thought I was a good guy. I was, taking care of my family, looking out for them and for myself, but I really wasn't serving the Lord the way that I should. And when that happened, I was like, all right, Lord, I did this my way. Now I'm going to do it your way. And so he just kind of, I was at the bottom of my game in life, and he has built me back up ever since. And Kate kind of had a similar story, a little bit different background. But when we met, we'd been praying about, getting remarried someday. And we wanted to marry somebody that was going to help strengthen and encourage marriage and family. And when we discovered that about each other, we knew that the Lord was leading us to get married. And ever since the day we got married, we've been pursuing our credentials. We've been getting trained in relationship education so we can help and serve others. And that's kind of what led us on this journey. And we just wanted to catch couples for Christ so that they wouldn't have to go through the pain and suffering we went through. Mm-hmm. We want to help them avoid those pitfalls. And so that's why we do what we do. We want to give them the wisdom and the knowledge that we didn't have, so we can turn that pain into a passion to help others.
I love it. And a cool piece about this is you guys focus on 1 minute a day, right?
Oh, well, yeah, there's we have this thing called a 6-minute prayer. Mm-hmm. And it's basically 6 minutes of prayer, 3 minutes on either spouse, and it's broken up into 3 segments. So there's 3 1-minute segments, and it's all explained on one of our marriage websites, marriageminute.org, and you can look for the 6-minute prayer there. And basically, it starts out by giving thanksgiving to God. You're looking at your wife or your husband, and you're holding hands eye to eye and knee to knee, and you're praying to the Lord, not to your spouse. We don't pray to people. We only pray to the Lord Jesus, right?
Yep.
And so we start off by giving thanks to the Lord for our many blessings, including our spouse that's right there in front of us. And then, of course, the man leads out on that. And then the wife, she follows up with a 1-minute prayer. And then the second part is asking forgiveness of how you've fallen short of the glory of God and how you may have hurt his daughter or him.
Exactly. Yep.
And what's really neat about that is, when I'm praying and my wife gets to hear my conversation out loud to the Lord, and something mysterious, miraculous happens when they get to hear your heart to the Lord. If a lot of times, if there's been something going on, there's a lot of heart softening happening in those moments.
Completely.
And it's just a really great way for them to catch a glimpse of your heart. And then obviously the wife follows suit on asking forgiveness, and it's not asking forgiveness of each other, just of the Lord and how you failed him. And then the third part is blessing. And so this is an opportunity for a husband to pray a blessing over his wife and his family, and ask blessings of the Lord. And then the same thing happens. It's the wife's turn for about a minute. So all in 6 minutes, 3 minutes for each person, 1 minute for each segment. And the very first time that Kate and I did that, we were at a marriage conference in Phoenix, Arizona, where we were serving at for many years. And they pulled this 6-minute prayer thing, and oh my gosh, we bawled like babies, because it was probably one of the most intimate things that we have ever done as a couple.
That is amazing. Well, prayer is super intimate. It is the most intimate thing that you can do in your marriage. Seriously, if you need to start praying together in a marriage, it's just amazing, and how it can transform things. So man, you guys starting with this has been that is really cool, and how you guys are doing that, because again, marriages have been attacked for the last few generations, and it's okay to, society says it's okay to split up and not hold that covenant and things, and man, it needs to be held together. Marriage is such a gift that the Lord gave us that we need to forward this. And so, like, even this week, me and my wife, we just celebrated our 9-year anniversary. So marriage is actually at the forefront of my mind. So it was really cool that I got to interview you about this space this week. But man,
And
this
that's
prayer
and
initiative-
marriage is one of the 4 pillars of the foundational elements of our ministry. It started out, we just wanted to serve other couples, helping them build a strong marriage and family. And the Lord kind of pulled me aside after a few years, and he's like, yeah, you're doing a great job. He spoke to my heart. You're doing a great job with this marriage thing, but really what comes before marriage is the first marriage of Christ and his bride. And you do that through the conduit of prayer. And so prayer comes first. And so we focus on prayer. We teach couples how to pray. That's part of that 6-minute prayer. And then of course we focus on marriage and leadership and events. And, we work with leaders from all over America to even governors have been signing marriage proclamations about God's design for marriage between one man and one woman. And so we're doing that. We're also helping local churches and leaders. If they want to help build a strong marriage ministry at their local church, contact us at our website there. We would love to help anybody who's good soil who wants to do something like that.
One thing that I went to a men's conference, and I took away from it when it comes to marriage from the man's perspective on this. One thing that I do as a practice, and I've done it a couple times, I want to continue doing this with my wife, is we'll actually, in one of our settings, I'll wash her feet, just like Jesus did, and get to sit there and pray and ask for repentance, and like you talked about those pieces, and pray over why I'm doing that. And it's just such a cool experience to invite the Holy Spirit in there and just see that connection just grow and build. And it's just so cool. But man, I know we only got a few seconds here. Is there anything that you want to finish up with the audience? Like, tell them something briefly about where to go, how to connect with you, that type of stuff.
Sure. Yeah. I have a leadership podcast called the Jerry Angelo Leadership Podcast. You can find that at jerryangelo.com. And there's just a whole wealth of great resources. If you're looking for videos or audio or that 6-minute prayer, you can find that at marriageminute.org. There's all kinds of great stuff out there to share. 7 tips for healthy marriage, including prayer. But yeah, that washing of the feet, we did that at a marriage conference one time, and that's just an amazing demonstration of leadership for the family. And I love that you've done that.
Yeah, exactly. That's cool.
Hey, Jerry, I've got a question. So it's that time of year where people are getting married, June, July, August, September. Give a new couple one piece of advice that they should carry in from day one of their marriage.
Oh, seek to build a marriage mission statement for your marriage, and spend your premarital counseling time developing that, and then share that at your marriage ceremony.
I love that.
Give them show them the identity that the Lord has imparted on your marriage, and communicate how he's cast a vision and how you're walking in purpose. Be a VIP in that new marriage.
Love it.
Love that. Thank you so much for being with us. It was great having you with us, Jerry. Hey man, where'd the time go?
It goes so fast, Rob, every time.
Way too fast. It's fun to be here and get to do this and every week with you, my friend. And we want to encourage everybody, go out and thrive.